In today's episode of the Platform Presents podcast, I got a very interesting guest here with me today. I'm with Patrick Lum, and he's heading over from the folks over at AsteroidX. And today we want to deep dive into what the folks are doing over there to give you guys an unfair advantage in the market. So, Pat, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Lucas. It's great to be here.
Yeah, so maybe share with us a little bit. What is AsteroidX all about in your own words?
Yeah. So we help Amazon sellers make more money. So you can think of it like a marketing agency with a really specific specialization. We only help third-party Amazon sellers sell more of their products on the Amazon platform.
Makes it very clear. Now, is there specific sort of subsector, specific focus areas where you're focusing on, or are you sort of running the gamut when it comes to the Amazon sellers?
What's interesting, right? We certainly so third party. So over 50% of all the units sold are actually sold by these third party sellers that Amazon has, no direct wholesale relationship with. They just sign up independently, list SKUs, and list them for sale. So it's really those guys. We're pretty agnostic to product category because a lot of these advertising processes are very data driven. So regardless of what the product is, the same sort of data inputs apply, and you can analyze them in the same way and sort of drive the return on ad spend from there.
Very good. Now, tell us a little bit. How do these guys find you? Like, what's their journey looking like in order to get to know AsteroidX?
So for the longest time, we've been around for about 5 years at this point. We were founded in 2018, and at the time of recording, it's early 2023. So we have been driving outbound for the longest time, and that's really been our primary acquisition channel. And and just recently, I think we're talking just before this that we've added some inbound efforts. But yeah, for the most part, they will get a call, just simply introducing the concept, and it's nothing new. Like these guys get called all the time, I imagine, and they tell us that too. But yeah, largely outbound.
You would say outbound like call. Is there anything that your team that you've maybe found over the years that actually is quite a unique insight when it comes to outbound, or any learnings when it comes to outreach campaigns that you think is maybe important but maybe overlooked?
Yeah, I mean, I think still when a lot of folks think outbound these days in the 2020s, they're probably thinking about cold email and perhaps cold messages, LinkedIn, something like that, outreach campaigns, which I think are valid. But if you happen to have someone on the team with the skill set who isn't afraid to pick up the phone, it's still, in my eyes, quite effective. I think phone calls and cold calls are still pretty underrated in this era where everything's supposed to be digital. I guess it depends who the customer avatar is, but yeah, I think people, if it's a helpful phone call and we're out to provide value, I think that there's still a lot of room on the phones. And in some niches, I bet your competitors either don't want to or can't make those calls. So that's an interesting opportunity.
Makes sense. Now, let's speak a little bit about the website. What role does the website play, in your opinion?
So this is an interesting one. Like we had just in sort of, I guess, in line with a lot of the outbound activity, we were running on ClickFunnels and recently switched over to WordPress for more SEO visibility as part of our increased outbound efforts. Yeah, the website is effectively a vehicle for scheduling calls. So it's a classic SDR and then account executive structure. So you'll get an initial call from a SDR, sales development rep. If the fit is there, the mutual fit, you will be booked on a call to explore it further with an account executive. So the website is functions as a scheduling tool. And now, as we sort of supplement our outbound efforts with inbound, also a place where case studies can be hosted and some SEO value can be found.
Gotcha. Now, is there anything that you've learned over the years when it comes to driving conversions? That is actually quite helpful. Any tools, methods, approaches from the website?
Yeah, we try to reduce friction as much as we can. So we use Calendly for the scheduling. I find that apps that have a singular focus can sometimes be really helpful at doing that one thing. And Calendly, just for us, has been quite good on the scheduling piece. Just there's a lot of tools and sort of back-end automation with Zapier that you could do. so that folks have, they get excited and you have good show up rates on the call, because it doesn't really matter if you successfully book a person initially and schedule that consultation call if they don't show up. So there's a lot of zaps that you can create, which just help get people excited about attending that consultation, and just proving the values there, and it's going to be there on the call.
Very good. Cool. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about you as a marketer, right? There's so much stuff out there that marketers could learn every day, could spend time on. What's your go-to resources? Where do you personally like to educate yourself?
I'm gonna give a huge shout out to Kip Bodnar at HubSpot, who was there when HubSpot was a $10 million company, and pretty much ran the marketing until they hit a $1 billion run rate, and he's still there to this day at the time of recording. It's just been a really impressive B2B sort of SaaS marketer. And I think one sort of unusual approach that I took to learning from Kip sort of digitally through podcast appearances and things like that is I actually listened to the same podcast over and over again, which seems a little bit of a crazy thing to do, but on walks or something, if you can put the time in, I think I've listened to a select number of episodes that were really condensedly packed 5 to 6 times, probably. And that really helps the information sit in and sort of set in a way that it doesn't on the first listen, sort of like rereading a book, I guess, where, I think there's a saying, it might be a Bruce Lee quote, I don't know. It's like, I don't fear the person who knows 1,000 punches. I fear the person who's practiced one punch 1,000 times. It's kind of like that. So you'd really want the knowledge to set in a way that it doesn't on the first listen. And I think that's just something that I've been trying to apply. You got to pick the right podcast episode, I guess, that's like relevant, but yeah, that's something interesting.
And what was the name of the HubSpot marketer, just for people who wanted to note it down?
Oh yeah, if you want to look this guy up, I highly recommend it, especially if you're B2B marketing or marketing a SaaS. It's Kip, so KIPP, and then Bodnar, BODNAR.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Now, we got some rapid fire questions to wrap it up for today. Are you ready for those?
Let's do it.
What is the last book that you read?
Predictable Revenue by Aaron Ross.
Oh, wow. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Now, what is the one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
That's going to be scaling up outbound.
Hence the book.
It makes sense. Yeah.
If there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be the one single thing that you would fix for your role as a marketer today?
Oh, I'd probably just perfect personalized sort of messaging to every prospect in funnel, I think would be great.
What's the last thing that kept you awake at night about the company?
I sleep pretty well.
Very good. And for the very last question, if today would be your first day joining AsteroidX, what's the one advice that you would give yourself for that journey?
I think just it's not really about you. It's about the people that are there for you along, like in the ride, and about developing them and making sure that they become who they're meant to be.
Very, very good. Cool. Now, Pat, I really want to appreciate you joining us in the show today. That was it. I want to give you the very last word. If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed about AsteroidX, what's the one thing people should remember?
I think I'm a big fan of a simple quote, and that is just do more of what's working. So when it comes to marketing, you probably have a channel that is already getting some traction. It might be time to drop a lot of the other channels and initiatives and just get laser focused in on that one. If you imagine, like, this is actually from Predictable Revenue that I've been reading, but if you imagine a fire hose that just doesn't have any nozzle on it, the water will just spray everywhere, right? It'll be not a particularly focused blast. There'll be a ton of water everywhere, which I guess is cool, but it's not going to get anything done. And if you put like a nozzle on the fire hose with a thin opening, right, that stream of water could cut through a wall. Like it's that powerful. So, I try to limit the number of channels that we're on, and even limit for example, I'm on YouTube now as part of the outbound effort, but I only do like short form video, and we're trying to just be the best in the world at short form video for lead gen. And that precludes even, it's not even just saying I'm going to focus on YouTube. It's like I'm going to focus on YouTube shorts like that. So yeah, just the power of focus, I think, for marketing channels is important.
Okay, very good. Then I would say, Pat, thanks a lot for joining today on Pathfinder Presents.
Thanks, Lucas.